Finding the right grind for your coffee machine can be difficult and sometimes intimidating. Vanout coffee expert Marie-Claude Desarreau is going to help us find the perfect grind for the perfect cup of coffee. First of all, Marie-Claude, is it really important to have the right grind when we're brewing our coffee?
Absolutely. It's really important to find the grind that matches your coffee maker. And that's what often people don't realize, and they're using the wrong grind, therefore they don't have a great cup of coffee. For example, we have probably the 4 most typical coffee makers here on the table. So if you look at the espresso machine, the contact time or the brew time is really quick. So espresso, 20-30 seconds. So you need a very fine grind so that the water can get to each particle of the coffee and extract the flavors. If we look at the Italian coffee maker, that takes a little longer, so you need a fine grind, but not as fine as the espresso machine. With the filter or drip coffee maker, the brew time is typically between 2 and 4 minutes, so you need, again, a slightly coarser grind. So we'll use a medium fine grind for that type of coffee maker. And then with the French press, the brew time is even longer, so we're talking 4 or 5 minutes. Then you need a coarser grind so that we're not over-extracting the coffee and getting the right balance in the brew.
Marie-Claude, what happens when we use the wrong grind in a particular coffee machine?
Well, you're going to get a bad cup of coffee. What happens is if you're using too fine a grind, for example, if you're using too fine a grind in your espresso machine, the water is not going to be able to go through. So you're going to have little drips of coffee coming out of your
really
coffee
dark.
maker. Very dark and very bitter.
Right.
Exactly. If you use too coarse a grind in a filter machine, for example, then you're going to get a very weak and watery coffee because the water is going to just go through the grinds and not inside extracting the coffee flavors.
Right, and we don't want water.
No, we don't want water. We want good coffee.
So how do we get the right grind for our particular coffee machine?
Well, that's a great question. Ideally, you would get your coffee already ground by the manufacturer. So, commercial grinders make a very even grind, and that's the key to success.
And it's indicated usually on the label.
On the label. We have, coffee grinders in the grocery store that you can use either for prepackaged coffee or coffee that you get in bulk.
And if I'm grinding at home, what machine would I be using?
There's the small, inexpensive blade grinder, and that's a great grinder to grind the spices, but not so great for coffee because it will give you a very inconsistent grind on the coffee. So typically you'll have powder on the bottom and coarser grind on top. So that will give you an uneven brew, and then you have to guess. Right. The second type is a burr grinder, and those have a setting, an adjustment. So you know exactly what grind to use for your coffee maker, and the burr will provide a much more even grind for your coffee maker.
Thanks so much, Marie-Claude. Now I know that the perfect grind is really important for the perfect cup of coffee.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Hey, you're welcome.